So today's topic, subject, whatever you want to call it, that I want to talk about is kind of a taboo. I feel, or I felt, it was a very taboo subject. Um, it was something I always felt, but I never felt comfortable actually talking about it to anyone because I felt that there was almost something wrong with me. And that's that whole feeling, after you have kids and everything in your life turns upside down, is missing the old me, missing the me before I had my daughter. And then again, when everything changed after my second daughter, and just those feelings of missing that freedom that most horsewomen all want. Like, of course, not everybody's going to fit in this mold, but most people that I talk to, most horsewomen that I talk to, we're kind of free spirits. We like to have our freedom. We enjoy riding when we want to ride. We enjoy the outdoors. And, we like to be able to be really flexible and go with the flow with things because, we understand that life isn't, you can't always predict what's going to happen every day. You're probably, maybe you were really confident, you're really brave, doing new things, trying new things. And then all of a sudden you have your kids and you're kind of like, where did I go? It can feel really sad actually, and depressing. And that you feel like that part of you doesn't get to exist anymore. It doesn't align with, your life as a mom. And that can be really, really hard to deal with mentally. And of course, I can't say exactly what caused my postpartum depression, but I do know that that played a huge part in it, was really missing my old me and being too scared to actually talk to people about it. And that's really unfortunate. So that's why I want to call out the elephant in the room and actually let you guys know that if this is something that you're feeling, if this is something that you're struggling with, you're not alone. Okay. And it's not like all of a sudden, like my kids are turning 4 and 2 in February. It's not like I don't ever feel that way still. I still have those memories and those, looking back and reflecting and cravings of when everything was just so simple and easy and no kids and my cat is sneaking in my room. And so that's why it's so important to actually talk about this stuff and realize that there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with feeling this way. And in fact, I think anybody out there and counselors and therapists, they're going to tell you that this is extremely normal. It's a learning curve. And if you even reflect back to your younger years, you would have felt this at numerous points in your life. Like most people, I think, feel this after they graduate high school and they've gotten a job, and all of a sudden they're kind of missing the simplicity of high school days, or maybe when they get out of college or university and they're trying to chase down their dreams, and oh my gosh, wasn't it so much easier when I just had somebody else's schedule to follow? And then you're missing those old days, those old moments. And so I think it's extremely natural. And just because you're feeling it after having your children or child, it doesn't make it any less natural. And that's really, really important, because if you feel like there's something wrong with you, if you feel like you're less of a mom for feeling this way, then that disbelief in yourself is going to weigh so heavily on you that you're not going to be able to live your life to the fullest, because you're always going to be dealing with this guilt weighing on your shoulders, preventing you from doing things. Because as soon as you start adding guilt about feeling this way, then the guilt is going to start multiplying in, oh, now I feel too guilty to ask somebody to come help me with my children so I can go ride. I feel too guilty to ride even if I have a babysitter, because I'm not there being the mom. That's my job. I should be doing that. I should be the only one taking care of my kids. Feeling guilty that you are out riding, but then you come in and all the housework that you would normally do hasn't been done because, well, that's just life. And when you start letting guilt live in your life like this, it's just going to start to accumulate around everything. And that's not a way to live. And it's very unhappy, and it is depressing. And, you know, maybe not all of us struggle with depression to the point where we feel like we need, you know, to have medication and stuff like that, because, you know, like there is a point where it becomes severe and you need help. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think there's so many of us, like I was able to actually conquer my postpartum depression through natural remedies. And so I was able to find methods and specific essential oils with a proper frequency to actually help knock my brain, not loose, but not put my brain back how it should be. But not everybody is that blessed. And that was one of the hugest things that I really had to learn, was to just accept the fact that it's okay to feel like I am missing the old me. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you're feeling this too, there's nothing wrong with you. You know, like we as horse women, we crave being independent. We are proud that we can go out and fix fence. You know, we can feed the horses, we can 4K, we can use the tractor, the skid steer, whatever you use. We can clean corrals. We can do all of this kind of stuff. If you have cattle, you're probably super savvy with dealing with, you know, maybe you have to a doctor by yourself or something like that. And we're very strong and independent people. And then all of a sudden you have this tiny little precious baby that you're a part of. And yes, you love them more than the universe, but your independence has basically vanished. And so it's completely natural to be missing that independence. And it's really, really hard. I found it extremely difficult to go from being able to do, you know, a work day of a man, or however you want to phrase that, and actually, you know, run around, do 20 different things all at the same time and do them really well. And then all of a sudden, you know, you've got a young child and you feel like you're almost stuck inside your house, you know, because you love being outside, but when you have crappy weather, your baby's either going to freeze, get soaking wet in the rain, or it's way too hot, or the bugs are way too bad. And all of a sudden, you know, then, so not only have you lost your independence, you feel like you can't do the things that you love to do outside, you know, depending on the weather. And so it's not even just like you can do some of the things outside. Now it depends on the weatherman. And so then you just lost even more control. And it's, you know, there's so much to this, that it's not just simply you've transitioned from, you know, you were an independent person and now all of a sudden you're taking care, and you're a mother, you're taking care of your children, but it's so much more than that. And that's something that I really want you to think about. So if you're feeling this way, if you're feeling like you miss your old self, if you're feeling a little bit lost, this is kind of the core reason why I've created this 30-day challenge that's coming up on the 11th, because all of these things are very, very important, in my opinion, to address and get to the bottom of why you're feeling the way you're feeling. Because until you can actually fix that, everything else is going to just be, you know, kind of tainted, if you will, because your feeling of guilt is just going to start ruining everything. But it's really important to remember. And all of a sudden, I just had this memory. I don't know if you ever watched I can't remember if it's Disney or Pixar, but the movie Inside Out. And if you haven't watched it, it's basically about, you know, your main core personalities are in your brain, and, you know, so there's joy, and obviously she's joyful. There's sadness and anger and frustration, or fear and disgust. And one of the big problems within this movie is sadness touches this core memory, and all the memories come in these beautiful glass spheres, and all the happy memories are like a beautiful golden color. And sadness touches a core memory and it starts to turn it blue. And so she's turned that amazing, happy core memory, blue. And all of this chaos happens, and I won't get into the whole detail, but in the end, what Joy, when I'm talking about my daughter, Joy, this, the feeling in this child's mind, what she realized was sadness is vital to managing your emotions, because if you don't have sadness to help guide you, then, by accepting the sadness, not just resisting it and feeling like, oh, it's wrong to feel this way, then you get really, really lost. And it's so much easier and healthier when you accept the emotions inside of you and know where they're coming from, and loving them through the, I'm really kind of stumbling up with what I'm trying to get out here, but maybe you kind of understand what I'm trying to say is, like you're actually accepting yourself and what you're feeling and what you're going through, and you're making it okay. And so that's just what I kind of wanted to talk to you about today. And again, that's why I wanted to make this 30-day challenge starting on the 11th. So I encourage you to be checking that out. It's going to be posts every day, and it's not going to be a whole bunch of homework. There are going to be things that I'm going to be asking you to do, simply because this challenge is meant to move you. It's meant to stretch you. It's meant to actually improve your life. It's not just, like I did a 21-day of gratitude. And while that is amazing, if you do the work, it's even better. You can read the post, you can feel light and fluffy in that moment, but if you don't actually do the legwork, nothing's actually going to change. So I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm just going to check here quick to see if there is any questions. And before I sign off, I need to turn that down. And all right, so no questions, and that's all good. Whenever you get a chance to watch this, I encourage you, if you do have questions, or even if you're like, oh my gosh, I totally relate to that, I would really love it if you would comment in the comment section, just because when a group of people actually come together and share their struggles, it makes people realize that there is nothing wrong with them. And it's going to help you feel better as well, voicing it and actually admitting that I do feel this, and I really want to start being okay with feeling this. It's very, very empowering to yourself and to others to actually be voicing these things. And I really want to have this group as a community, but I can't make this group a community where we all feel safe and we all feel like we can actually be vulnerable and lift each other up and share our struggles and our wins and everything like that. I can't make that by myself. I need you brave people to be willing to step out of your comfort zone just a little bit and to help me create that for all of you. I know some people are going to be a long way off from feeling comfortable for opening up in front of people, but some people, this is your gentle nudge. If you would love to be a part of something, creating a beautiful healing atmosphere among, all of us horsewomen, I would really, really love it if you could help me out and, comment, even just, sharing a heart, a thumbs up. Oh, totally, me too. Like something very, very short. I'm not asking you to share your deepest, darkest secrets, unless if that's something you want to do. So I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will catch you on the next one.